Hello and welcome to what I hope is the final edition of the updated, or the updated, however we want to phrase that, on this turntable. We have nailed it down to this is either an Admiral RC 160. Sonora also used this same mechanism. There's Buzz 1151 did a Sonora that has this same mechanism with the motor offset like that. The Crescent C excuse me 200 is the same mechanism as well for the most part. The RC 150 from Admiral uses the same post. It's the same identical post that goes in the center of the turntable. But the RC 150, it shows the motor in a straight line with the mechanism. Slightly different. Same mechanism here, but a slightly different design on how the motor's mounted, whereas the 160 and the Sonora and the Crescent all have the motor offset. If we turn it around here, you can see the motor's offset. There, the motor's offset. They all have this cable. This is the eject cable. There's a button in the post, and I'll flip this over. And my frame here, I hope so. Yeah, they all have the same mechanism. You can see the motor's offset, and you can see how that motor is offset. That's the eject mechanism. Now I'm going to flip this thing over, and we'll put something underneath here to hold it up in the air a bit. They all have the same identical post, and there's a little button right here you push down. That's the eject when you want to eject for the next record. They all have this mechanism for the 10 and 12 inch, and there's a slight difference depending on who the manufacturer is with this piece. Some of them have a slightly different little weight that holds the records. This is, put a little extra down pressure on the record so they stay balanced on these two tabs. And this just turns around for your 12 inch and your 10 inch. But all of those models use the same identical mechanism underneath and the same spindle. The difference is slight difference here, and this little switch plate is different on all the different manufacturers. Some have a round knob for an off and on switch. This one says Midwest, and it's got two switches. This is not the turntable, by the way, that actually goes to my unit. I purchased this because it's a Midwest, and I haven't seen any other Midwest turntables. I will be keeping my eye open for the correct one. And I have a picture of the correct one here in the catalog. And this is what the correct one actually looks like. You can see there's a little hump on the front, like a little, I don't know, raised portion. And instead of having this mechanism on it here, it's got that arm that comes over and sits on top of the records like most of the more modern changers have. But this will do for now because at least it says Midwest on it, and once it's in there it'll look fine. What else did I want to cover? I guess that's it. I want to thank Mike out in California who contacted me with a correct updated schematic for the 916. He's restored one himself, and his is the only schematic I've seen that has the flex ohm resistor. Now, Mike, I don't know if you added that in or if that was on some version you found, but there's a flex ohm resistor in the B plus supply on mine that is obviously factory. Okay, that about wraps it up. At some point I've got to tear this down and do a restoration on this. The idler wheel has got a massive dent in it from sitting for probably 50 years without moving. and the rubber tire that drives the mechanism on the bottom is in really bad shape, but I'm sure I can deal with both of those issues without much of a problem. There's always a way around that. And again, if anybody out there has a Sonora or a Crescent or an Admiral or a Midwest turntable that's in really ratty condition but has one of these posts that are intact, I'd love to get in contact with you and purchase it from you if possible. It's real simple to take out. There's a single nut on the bottom. You remove this nut and it simply slides out of the turntable, and this would go a long ways towards getting this turntable, this system up and going. Okay, that's it. Oh, here's a picture of the dimensions. If you're in doubt, you can take a look at the dimensions on this photograph, or this drawing rather, and it'll give you some idea of what the post should look like. And thank you to everybody out there. He's the master. Gosh, so many people have, off the top of my head here, I feel foolish now not having a list in front of me of the names, but everybody that's come out of the woodwork and offered some clues as to what this unit is, I wouldn't have had any idea. I've had many turntables in my life, but you know, I've never tried to restore one of these antique 78 RPM units, so I've tightened the set screw. At any rate, that's going to wrap it up. There shouldn't be any more updates to the update to the update. This should be the last one. And thanks for checking in. See you later. Bye.